Picture this. You're scrolling through your phone late at night, wondering if you'll ever hold that precious green card in your hands. Perhaps you've been in limbo for what feels like forever. Maybe your application is buried somewhere in a government filing cabinet. Or maybe you're still on the outside looking in, convinced that legal immigration to America is just too complicated, too slow, too hopeless. But what if I told you that everything just shifted? This past August, the United States government enacted the most revolutionary immigration overhaul we've seen in generations. We're talking about changes so significant that immigration lawyers are calling it a once-in-a-lifetime transformation. This isn't some minor policy tweak. These changes will determine whether families stay separated or finally embrace again, whether talented workers continue waiting in endless queues or start building their futures, whether dreams remain dreams or become reality. Whether you're calling from Toronto, Sao Paulo, Nairobi, Bangkok, or anywhere else on this planet, these changes affect your future. So let's dive deep into what this means for you. Segment number 1, the historic moment. On the first day of August 2025, President Biden put his signature on something remarkable: the Immigration Modernization Act, a bipartisan achievement that seemed impossible just months ago. Here's what they tackled head-on: the immigration nightmare that's been crushing hopes for decades. Think about it. Millions of people have been trapped in a system that moves slower than molasses. Professionals with approved petitions waiting 15 years. Parents unable to bring their adult children to safety. Spouses living on different continents with no end in sight. That era is ending. This legislation doesn't just tinker around the edges. It demolishes the artificial barriers that have kept families apart and wasted human potential. We're talking about expanding pathways, eliminating discriminatory quotas, and creating express lanes for those who've been waiting the longest. The transformation begins now. Segment 2, breaking the bottleneck. Let me give you the numbers that will blow your mind. Over 4.5 million people are currently stuck in green card limbo right now. But starting this October, something unprecedented happens. The government will process an additional 600,000 green cards annually for the next 3 years straight. That's not a typo. We're talking about nearly doubling the processing capacity. Immigration experts are calling this the Great Acceleration. Cases that seemed destined for 2030 could be resolved by 2026. Applications gathering dust might suddenly spring to life. If you're a skilled professional with an approved petition, if you're sponsoring a family member, if you've been playing by the rules but watching others cut in line, your wait time just got slashed. Segment 3, the end of geographic discrimination. For too long, your birthplace determined your immigration timeline. Born in India, 20-year wait. From China, similar nightmare. Mexican or Filipino, same story. Meanwhile, someone from a smaller country could get their green card in 2 years with identical qualifications. That injustice ends today. The new law completely eliminates per-country limits, those discriminatory caps that punished people simply for their nationality. No more being told you'll wait longer because of an accident of birth. This single change liberates hundreds of thousands of highly skilled workers, loving family members, and deserving immigrants who were trapped by geography. The playing field is finally level. Segment number 4, the merit revolution. But here's where things get interesting and competitive. The new system introduces a point-based pathway alongside traditional immigration routes. Think of it as America finally adopting what works in countries like Canada and Australia. Your education level matters. Your job skills count. English fluency gets rewarded. Work experience adds points. STEM backgrounds and healthcare expertise shoot you to the front. If you're a software engineer, a registered nurse, a data scientist, or a medical researcher, congratulations, you just became immigration priority number 1. This isn't replacing the current system immediately, but it's creating an express lane for the most sought-after professionals. The message is clear. America wants your talent, and they're willing to fast-track you to get it. Segment number 5, a lifeline for the undocumented. Now, let's talk about something that's been weighing on 11 million hearts across this country. The people who've been living in America's shadows for far too long. These are the individuals who wake up every morning wondering if today might be the day their world falls apart. The parents who drop their American-born children at school knowing they might not be there for pickup. The essential workers who kept our hospitals running, our food supply moving, our economy breathing during the darkest days of the pandemic, all while living in constant fear. But this historic legislation finally acknowledges what we've all known for years. These aren't criminals. They're contributors. They're Americans in everything but paperwork. Here's how the new pathway works. And I want you to listen closely because the details matter. If you're currently protected under DACA, that's Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, you now have a direct route to permanent residency. No more renewals every 2 years. No more living in limbo. Stability is finally within reach, and if you have temporary protected status because your home country faces ongoing conflict, natural disasters, or humanitarian crises, you're no longer temporary. This law recognizes that temporary sometimes means permanent, and you deserve certainty. And here's the game changer. If you've been living undocumented in the United States for more than 10 years, have been paying taxes, staying out of trouble, and have built genuine ties to American communities, there's now a legal pathway to come out of the shadows. But let's break down exactly what eligible means, because details determine destinies. You'll need to pass comprehensive background checks, and I mean thorough. They're going to look at your criminal history, your tax compliance, your community involvement. If you've been arrested for anything more serious than minor traffic violations, you might face challenges. You'll need to demonstrate tax compliance. That means showing you've been filing returns, paying what you owe, contributing to the system you want to join permanently. If you've been working under a fake Social Security number or haven't been filing taxes, now is the time to get compliant with help from a qualified tax professional. Community ties matter enormously. They want to see that you're integrated into American life. That could mean owning property, having children in American schools, volunteering at local organizations, maintaining employment with the same employer for years. The stronger your roots, the stronger your case. But for the millions who qualify, the mothers who haven't seen their own parents in decades, the fathers working multiple jobs to support American families, the young adults who only know America as home, this is the miracle they've been praying for in the darkness of uncertainty. Segment 6. Reuniting America's Families. Now let's talk about something that should have never been broken in the first place. American families. For decades, we've watched a heartbreaking paradox. America, the land built by immigrants seeking better lives for their families, has been one of the cruelest places on earth for family separation. Not because of war or disaster, but because of bureaucratic dysfunction. Here's what family reunification actually looks like under the new system. Spouse visas that used to take 12 to 18 months will now be processed in 4 to 6 months. We're talking about cutting wait times by 2/3. Newlyweds won't have to spend their first years of marriage on different continents. Because at the end of the day, America was founded by people who left everything behind for their family's future. This law finally remembers that fundamental truth. Strong families build strong communities, and strong communities build a strong America. Segment number 7. Your strategic action plan. All right, here's where the rubber meets the road. You can watch this video, feel inspired, and do nothing. Or you can take action that could change your entire life trajectory. Because here's what I've learned from 20 years of covering immigration. Preparation separates winners from waiters. The people who succeed aren't necessarily the smartest or the richest, they're the most prepared. So let's get tactical. Here's your step-by-step action plan based on where you are right now. If you're already in the immigration system, first, check your USCIS case status not monthly, not weekly, but every 3 days. The government is about to start sending expedited processing notifications, and some of these opportunities have tight deadlines. Set phone alerts. Make it automatic. Second, audit every single document in your case file. That medical exam from 2022, it might be expiring. Those employment letters, they might need updates. Your passport? Check the expiration date right now. Because when they call your number, you don't want to lose your spot over outdated paperwork. Segment number 8. The hard truths. Nobody wants to discuss. Now, before we get too carried away with optimism, let's have an adult conversation about what this historic legislation doesn't solve. Because false hope can be more dangerous than no hope at all. And here's perhaps the hardest truth. If you're undocumented but don't have strong community ties, if your background check reveals serious issues, if you haven't been paying taxes or have significant criminal history, this pathway may not be available to you. The new law is generous, but it's not unlimited in scope. But here's what worries me most and why timing is absolutely critical. Politics never sleeps in America. The 2026 midterm elections are just around the corner. We've seen this movie before. Comprehensive immigration reform passed under one administration, then systematically dismantled by the next. Remember DACA's roller coaster? Remember how many times comprehensive reform has been promised, passed, and then politicized out of existence? Immigration has become America's most polarizing political football. What seems like settled law today could be tomorrow's campaign promise to repeal. New congressional majorities could defund implementation. Future presidents could issue executive orders that gut enforcement. Behind every visa number, every case file, every bureaucratic process, there is a human heart beating with the same hopes and fears that brought our own ancestors to this country. There's Maria in Tegucigalpa, Honduras, who works 16-hour days in a textile factory, sending every extra dollar to her 3 children living with their grandmother while she navigates the impossible choice between earning money to feed them and being present to raise them. She dreams of the day she can kiss them goodnight instead of just hearing them say "Te amo, mami" through a crackling phone connection. Because sometimes, information is the difference between staying stuck and moving forward. Sometimes, knowledge is the difference between watching dreams die and seeing them come alive. Sometimes, understanding is the difference between accepting defeat and achieving victory. The future you've been waiting for? Long pause with profound hope. It just became possible. Now, go make it inevitable.